by the end of January, like January 28th. I need to ask
Oh,
Whitney.
sure.
Whitney deals with
What do you think, Whitney?
The last date was the 26th.
26th.
But
Is that the last day?
that's the last day.
I know we're
from
getting
that.
close.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
hoping it would last all the way into February.
Well, I know we're getting close. It might go into February, but it's been it's been a great opportunity for us. And, after our meeting, I got in my truck and I met Pastor and I had met Deacon Staley, and I said, we were driving back, I said, that's our job. And Mr. Deacon Staley said, I'm gonna call you, I'm getting ready to go to California and I'm gonna call you in a couple weeks. And I'm telling you, we hit it off so well at our first meeting on just what we spoke about, and you could just see they were genuine people. I was also very impressed that you don't see a lot in Cincinnati, that as they spoke of, it was an African-American company that did not perform. And here is, they're giving another African-American small business the next chance to say, even though this one failed, this is not you. I'm not holding you responsible for
That's
that.
good. That's a good
And
point.
we are going to continue dealing with African-American businesses, and the opportunity is yours. I drove away that day, and it was September like 29th or 30th, and I said, we'll get a phone call tomorrow.
That's good.
I said it will not take 2 weeks because we had a good meeting, and they are anxious to get started, and we are going to be their contract. I sat everybody down in this room, and I said, when we get that job, everything A+. Like we do our concrete work, anything they need. I don't care if we had it in our bid, didn't have it, whatever we were supposed to have, we best not ask for change orders, anything. They better be so happy when we're done to make me happy. Because this is, it's bigger than, we have people that give us opportunities to pour concrete. They have given us our first opportunity to be a general contractor.
Right.
And you can never thank anybody enough for that. So,
And it's always about repeat business. I teach my
repeat.
entrepreneurship class that the best customer is the one that comes back again.
Yeah.
So you building a relationship where you can do some other work with Jostin. And I want you to keep in mind before we get through, and I forgot to mention, I'll do this. I want you to talk about some of your other projects as well. And I want to get to Brother Rose now, but let me remind the viewers that this is Jim Klingman. The name of this show is Blackonomics. And I forgot to tell you that we are doing this show from the headquarters of Jostin Concrete, which is located on Florence Avenue, just down from Gilbert. And we're proud to be in this facility. And maybe we can get some still shots in during this show to give you some information about this company and fine work that it's doing in our community. But I want to go back in history now. Because this is important. Here we have a current relationship between a black business and a black church organization. Richard Rose had an experience back around 1991, 92, and I'll let him give all the details on it, where he advocated doing or getting our building built by a black company. And Richard, why don't you just share? Take us back though. I know you went through some struggles, and we know about Brother Strayhorn. He died during the process, and he was the only person that you had that knew about construction. Just give us some information about how the whole thing came about, and some of the issues that you faced, and the successes, and if there were any problems, we're going to talk about that too. And I want you to also talk about your upbringing in terms of economic empowerment. So you can start there if you like.
People can take the time.
Well, back in the late 80s, we purchased property on Gray Road. It's about 5 acres. We now have about 10 and a half over there. We decided to build a building. We were outgrowing our present facility on Beecher Street. We decided to build a building. So when it came time to talk about contracting, I told the brethren at the church, we need to look at a black contractor. Well, some of them were not as enthusiastic as I was. They said, well, I don't know if a black contractor to do this, and I said, well, we won't know unless we look for one.
That's right.
and they were not really willing at the time. And I told them, I said, look, if you all don't look at a black contractor, you all do this without me.
That's commitment.
Well, my dad was a minister, and he always advocated you do business with black people. Of course, there was a time when nobody would do business with us but black folk.
Yeah,
You know.
right.
And my dad always pushed that. He said, because if you do business with a black man, some of that will come back to you. And just like doing business with those who are members of your congregation.
Right,
You give them a job, part of that comes back.
that's right.
So that's a part of that stewardship piece. Well, we got ready to find the contractor, and Sherman Strayhorn, introduced us to Chris Smith.
And Sherman was in the construction business.
Yes, he was not in the construction business as far as building.
Right.
But what he did is he cleaned the brick.
Okay.
When they build these new buildings, he would clean them and make them look shiny, brand new. He was well familiar with the construction industry.
Okay.
So we were kind of depending on him to guide us through the process, because none of the rest of us had a clue. I know I didn't. Didn't have a clue. And so we found Chris, and he had never built a building before, a church building before. Never, he's built houses.
Chris Holmes was his
Yes.
business. Yeah.
But never built a church building. So when they started saying, well, he had never built a building, I said, everybody has to have a first.
That's right.
Everybody got to have a first. I had to have a first as far as preaching the first sermon.
Right.
Everybody has to have a first. And if he does well, then we're ahead. Okay. So after much discussion and debate, we decided that we would hire Chris to be our general contractor. And we had some issues. As far as I was concerned, he was not properly supervising our job. And this is why it took 2 years to build a building that should have been built in 9 to 11 months.
Wow.
But we have a nice building.
But Brother Strayhorn, was he helping you in that, to go and check things out and all of that?
Well, unfortunately, he died before we even broke ground.
Oh, wow.
So
That left
now we don't have anybody. But I was out on that site every day. Every day I'm learning. And every day I'm watching. And every day I'm questioning. I know they got tired of me, but I questioned anyway. You know, why are you doing this? Why are you doing it this way? Is that right? You know, I even learned to read a blueprint. So I could look at the blueprint and tell whether or not they were going in the right direction. So it was an experience for me. It was a learning and a growing experience for me. But the commitment was always, I cannot ask white folk to do what we won't do.
That's right.
Every day we're hollering about white people won't give us jobs.
Right.
Well, if I don't give us jobs,
That's right.
how can I go and ask white folk to give us jobs?
Right.
So it was a great experience, a great learning experience, and I'll do it again.
Good. And the building is there for everyone to see right there on Great
That's
Road.
That's right.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, people have come by and they really have thought it was a white congregation because our yard is always well manicured and all of that big nice building.
Yeah.
Until they see us walk out.
I think that's. Oh, go ahead.
And my vision, because is to get as much land as we can. And now we have about 10.5 acres. And the possibility to get 7 more. And my vision was to have a school, a senior citizens building, to have recreational facilities for the community, all of that. That's my
And
vision.
multi-purpose.
That multi-purpose
That's- yeah.
building that will play into daycare,
Mhm.
all of that. And so we're gonna be needing a construction company.
Jostin, there you go.
You're gonna be needing Jostin.
That's right, get your kids in now. Yeah,
And my stand will always be the same.
yeah,
Before we look anywhere else,
yeah.
before we look anywhere else, let's look among the African Americans.
Right. Now, I know that, as Pastor Farrell suggested, that there are people in the congregation who have skills,
Yeah.
electrical skills, plumbing and all of that. And it's really important. And I've seen firsthand
Yes.
where they have been used
Oh, yeah.
at Gray Road. And as you said, Brother Rose, that some of that comes back. And again, it gets us to this whole notion of stewardship.
Yes.
How do we multiply what we've been blessed with?
Mhm.
And of course, the multiplying effect of $1 as it's spent from place to place within a circle is very positive. And I think that this is an excellent lesson for us within the walls of the church building,
Right.
within those walls. And to top that off is a relationship such as you have
Yes.
with Jostin Concrete. You were going to
It's important. This is why it's so important for you to know who's in your church.
That's right. Good point. That's right.
See, it doesn't make any, it doesn't do any good for skills to be sitting in your pew and you don't know anything about it.
Right.
So whenever anyone becomes a member of Red Road, we ask them,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, where do you work? Not because we want to follow you around.
Right, right.
But we want to know what
How
skills
can
you
we
have.
support you? Yeah.
What skills you have.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a vocation and an advocation.
That's right.
But we want to know what it is.
Right,
So that if we need those kinds of skills, we know where to come first.
right. Excellent point. Albert, I know you've done a lot of work around Cincinnati. I mean, I've seen it. And but give us some idea. How long you been in business? How'd you get involved in this? Give us some of the projects that you've been involved with. And Whitney, you can chime in too. Just give us a kind of an overview of who is Jostin Concrete.
Well, I'll start and tell you a little bit about Jostin, and Whitney can tell you about projects. Actually, my father is a PhD chemist, worked
Mhm.
for Procter & Gamble for 30 years.
And let me put in a plug. He's our first eavesdropping on the Elders show. He was the first one that we
So
did.
see, son followed in footsteps.
There you go. Yeah.
So, you know, my dad would go out, and I come from a home where my mother was a principal, and she worked every day. My dad worked every day, but they wanted to make the life for us kids better. And they always told us, you owe us a college degree.
That you owe that to them.
For us clothing you, feeding you, and doing everything for 18 years, we had to get college degrees. Their parents had college degrees.
Mhm.
You owe us a college degree.
Mhm.
It's not even something that you get to think about. You owe it to us. So my father started buying these apartment buildings in Cincinnati, and he started redoing them. Well, my brother Joe and I would go down and sand floors, paint, redo trimming, fix the toilets, and I mean, we're 11, 12 years old. And my dad, because we wanted to, we liked working with him, we go with him every Saturday, or if he got off work at 6 o'clock and somebody called and needed this done, we go with my dad. Next thing you know, I'm loving working with my hands. My mother grew up in Spriggs, Alabama, in Montgomery, about 20 miles south, and her father, James Flowers, was a big farmer, 600 acres. Every summer we'd go down there with 250 cattle and work with our hands,
Wow.
bale hay, work, and wouldn't get paid a dollar.
Sound familiar, but don't say it.
They wouldn't get paid.
Wouldn't get paid.
No, but we ate so well because every day he was a teacher and on the farm, and I didn't understand it then, but they were shaping us to be the young men, and the young lady, my number 6 is a girl, the people that we are going to become later in life. So all of a sudden, I go through high school and I'm helping my father, and on the summers we're working on the farm, and then all of a sudden we get an opportunity to redo a building, and I tell my parents kind of sneakily, I'm not going to college. They say, oh yeah, I say, I'm starting a little construction business, redoing houses, I'm gonna start buying these apartment buildings, and doing this, and my dad and mom said, "No, you're not." Picked me up by the back of my shirt pretty much and took me to Bowling Green and dropped me off.
Wow.
It dropped me off. And I said, "I don't even know what I'm gonna major in. I don't have any interest." They said, my dad said, "Major in business." So I majored
There you
in
go.
business.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden after my freshman year, I'm there. My parents would tell you I never even came home. I love college so much. And then by my sophomore year, just by the grace of God, the college that they sent me to had a construction management program.
Wow.
So I transferred from business to construction management because I had grown up working with my hands, and I was enjoying my business, but I liked this construction management. By then, I got put on a full ride scholarship. I'm majoring in something I wanted to do. I'm working with my hands. I was very good in math, and I enjoyed it. So I come out of college and go to work for a big concrete firm, just working for them.
Yeah.
And I worked for them for 13 years, and I got to learn so much from them. So I started up in Michigan, Flat Rock, Michigan, building a 1 million square foot automobile plant, then went to Battle Creek, Michigan on a Kellogg plant, then down to Georgetown on a big automobile
Wow.
plant. And we built everything from steel mills out in Arizona and Las Vegas and Alabama. Got to travel the country, actually got to go outside the country and do steel fibers and learn so much about construction, and not only construction in Cincinnati or Ohio, but all the different aggregates and different people and the different ways you have to construct a building in all the different states, because all of our soils are different, the materials are different. So I was just luckily in the right place at the right time,
Yeah.
but absorbed all this information. Going back to the beginning, my sophomore year of college, my father got my grades and he called me and said, and I can't say it on the air, but he said, "What? What are you majoring in?" Just yelling. "Oh, you were in business. What is construction management? Who do you know has a job? Who do you know is supporting their family? Did you do research? Who do you know has a full-time job?" Now, this is African American, PhD chemist, very smart man. Still don't know anything about construction. This is how African Americans weren't involved in construction, because they were African Americans back then in the union. The union was all black, making $25 an hour, supporting their families.
Yeah.
We just didn't know.
Didn't know about it. Yeah.
Just didn't know. All of a sudden I get this degree, I come out and I get a job, and my dad and mom are so happy, like, because they would think I would do a job, get laid off, do
Yeah.
a job. Man, I've been laid off a day in 25 years.
Wow.
So I worked for that firm for 13 years, and all of a sudden I was traveling so much, my wife said, "You need to come home and stay with the kids and with me." And I said, "You're right," because by then I think I had a son 5 and 3, and then we found out my wife was pregnant, and I said, "You're right." So I resigned, and I said, "Now what am I going to do?" So we started Jostin Concrete. And we're changing the name to Jostin Construction because we're getting into more general contracting. And Jostin came from, my oldest son is Joshua, the J-O-S, and our second son is Justin, the T-I-N. And my wife and I always want to remember why we were doing this, and it's for our family. So we
that's
named
good.
this business after that. And then my wife owns a pump company, Brewster Pumping, that's named